back. This team is still looking for. Well, they got DK now, but while we talk about this, the question is, oh my goodness, look, we went from highlights to crash outs. Look at what's going on here. This man here can give you the best of both worlds. Now we got to ask the question: is are the Steelers okay with mediocrity?
Oh, look at this. Okay, sorry. Look at this. Look.
What in the? Is that the Giants? That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, he ready for the NFC East. NFL young boy. That's what I'm talking about. Look at that grit. Oh, is that the Commanders? Get him out of here. Hey, orange juice out of St. Juice. Let's go. But we got RBO Mom backstage, man. We're going to bring my man up so he can tell me why I need to slow down on my happiness of having George Pickens over here, man. And I know you see that question, and I know you're going to have a lot to say, but welcome, RBO Mom.
Appreciate y'all. Thank you. Thanks for having me, fellas. Thank you.
Hey, appreciate you for helping me out with my honorable mention earlier today, too. Appreciate
you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Anytime.
All right, so Vaughn, you see the question below. You see all the stuff that's going on in the offseason and just what's been happening with the Steelers. So outside of Pickens getting traded, outside of Aaron Rodgers saying he's going to come back, outside of Mike Tomlin being on the spotlight, do you think the Steelers are okay with mediocrity? Sorry.
Okay, so I'm going to speak as a fan right quick first. And I'm going to say, no, as a fan, we're not okay with mediocrity because for years, we've been known as a team that's always contending, a team that's stout on defense, a team that's always going to be there. But for years, we haven't had good quarterback play. We haven't been able to sustain our good defensive play throughout the whole season. We fall off at some point, and we just haven't been able to make things happen. So, no, we're not okay with that. As far as the Steelers, the organization, I'm going to try to feel like they feel the same way, because when I look at these moves that they're making, it seems as if they decided that George Pickens was just too much to deal with. You know, he was just a guy that through all the things, because even last year you heard Mike Tomlin say in press conferences, like he has a lot of things to work on as far as his character and things of that nature. Like he said it multiple times. So it's probably to the point like, all right, let's just go ahead and get another receiver. When they paid DK, that kind of indicated to me like, okay, either they about to go all in on both of them, or Pickens definitely about to go, because Pickens is last year on his rookie contract. He's due for a new contract, and he's going to try to prove that he's him. And like I said in the chat, make sure you become a member so you can get this exclusive. You can get a little piece right quick. But as I said in the chat, he has a lot of moments where his talents is so great, but those small moments just take away everything that he does. You know, sometimes he doesn't run his routes all the way. Like he's not all the way engaged. However, him having motivation to prove he's a top guy in a better offensive team, you know, you may see a different side of that. But as far as mediocrity, I feel like we are doing just the opposite. We're trying to, like, we're at the point now, I'm not happy with the Aaron Rodgers situation. I wish you never even dove into that, to be quite honest. I wish, like, to be honest, I'll just go with Will Howard, or if he can prove he can be a starter, or just Mason Rudolph or whatever. We got 12 draft picks going to next year. Like, just like, shout out my man. Oh, I told him when he was on RBO with the Bulls, you don't want to be caught in between sorry and good. You don't want to be in between. You want to either be sorry, go ahead and take the L, get you some good draft picks, you know what I'm saying? Get you a quarterback right quick, reset next year. But the way our team is set up, our like, we're led by our defense. Our defense a lot of times wins us our games, you know, like keep us in games to the point we can always win. But I feel like going forward, that's what I would like to see. Just if we're gonna go with A-Rod, whatever, just get A-Rod, whatever. Like 1 year, this is the final year of mediocrity. Like this is the final year of that, you know, because going forward, we got to go hard for our quarterback next year in the draft or whatever. We can do what we got to do. Because passing on Shador, after Tomlin came out and spoke so good about him, it threw me off a little bit. However, we got to see how that plans out.
Okay.
I got a question for you.
Go ahead.
How did you feel when y'all didn't drive Shador?
I was confused, to be
Mhm.
quite honest. I mean, I watched Shador play. I know how good he is, but I understand everything behind. It's not just about what he do on the field. You know, I heard a lot about his interviews and all that kind of stuff, and I understand. You know, I that's why I say I gotta see how things pan out. Like, is he really that arrogant guy that's might stir things up, might bring extra to your team, or you know, like I was really confused, to be quite honest. But Shador might not be it though. He might not be it, to be quite honest. That might be like at the end of the day, he just might not be as good as everybody say he is. I'm not saying that's what it is, but maybe that's what they thought. You know.
Yeah, I thought y'all were like y'all were like, dang, if they passed up on Shador, it's something.
Right.
Because y'all don't really follow the NFL's narrative. Y'all do what y'all want to do.
Right.
Like the Rooney Rule came out to y'all. You know what I mean? So like, I feel like if anybody gonna draft Shador, if nobody don't want to do it, with the Steelers. And once y'all passed up, it was like, oh snap, it got to be something. And I know you had a question, but I do want to make a comment. I did see a report that said that the Steelers offered George Pickens to other teams, and they laughed at the possibilities of bringing him into their locker room. I was like, dang. So he was like an unwanted person around the league.
I mean, he's in a position though, because like I said, he's an all-world talent. You know how I went to war in the chat. I didn't put him up there with Jettas and them boys. So like he has that type of talent. So he has a lot of upside. It's just, is he gonna lock in? You know, it's all on him.
He did say that he wanted to prove himself first before signing the contract.
Right. Okay. So
and what better place? What better place? You know. Go ahead.
I had a question, but you kind of sort of already answered it for me. Honestly, the Steelers is a team that I've always thought really highly of. Like I really, really did. Just the organization, Mike Tomlin. I know I've had controversial takes about Mike Tomlin recently, but overall, it's because of my expectations of what Mike Tomlin is and what the Steelers organization represents. And I feel a little bit differently than you do, Vaughn. To me, honestly, my thinking, because even if you look to next year's draft, who's the quarterback that you're looking at? Because I'm going to be honest with you, Arch Manning is not coming out in the draft next year. He is just like his. Okay, I'll pause for a second. Shout out to Teddy, aka T Merck, Mr. BWT himself, member for 20 months. Shout out to the best network on the internet. Hashtag Pats are back. Hashtag Red Sox. Of course, Joe, you would set me up for this. Of course. Hashtag Red Sox suck. Hashtag BWT. Hashtag Yankee. Hashtag Shelters and Six. Okay. Hashtag Fresh Cut Fridays. I hope Teddy, stay here for the next segment. Please do. Stay here for the next instead of the segment. Just don't go nowhere. Back to what I was saying about the Steelers, man. To me, I don't see a quarterback coming out of the draft next year that solves that problem for you guys. That's just my personal opinion, because Arch Manning has said that he is not just the Manning family. He is not coming out after just one season. And if you look at next season, he's only going to be, that's only his first season that he's played the entire college football season. Because remember, he could have transferred last year when Quinn Ewers decided to come back, but he did not. He stayed. If you look at a lot of other quarterbacks in college football, they normally transfer out and go somewhere else where they know they're going to start. He stayed because he understands that as a Manning family, a quarterback in the Manning, you look at Archie, you look at Peyton, and you look at Eli. They all stayed 4 years at college, all of them. I don't see that being any different from him. He has the same mentality they did, so he's not coming out next season. So if you look at next season, you're looking at Drew Aller. I don't think he's that good. That's my personal opinion. You look at Cade Klubnik at Clemson. I don't see him being the answer for the Steelers right now. And yes, you have Will Howard in there. And it would make sense for that to happen if you do bring in Aaron Rodgers. He's there for a year or two, and he helps, get him there. But the thing is, what about the other outside weapon outside of DK Metcalf? I understand that they said they're banking on Roman Wilson to come in and actually, be that answer. That's yet to be seen. He does have the talent as well. I do agree. He has the talent. But for me, it just seems like they're waiting on so many things that don't have answers right now. And honestly, I don't know if they are okay with getting better than mediocrity, or if they're just okay with the same mantra that's been there, that Mike Tomlin will at least get you to the playoffs. And I know how you feel about that. You don't want that to be the case because you want the Steelers to continue to get better and get back to championship mode, because that's what the Steelers organization represents. They're one of only 2 organizations that have 6 Super Bowl titles. It's just the Patriots and Steelers. Everyone else has 5 or less. So I understand.
Tom Brady and the Steelers. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, you're right. Tom Brady and the Steelers. But I'll say he won 6 with the Patriots. So just saying. So I understand that, but I just feel a little bit differently, because to me, in my eyes, it looks like they are okay with mediocrity, because they didn't make the move to go get a Shadur Sanders, to go get a Jackson Dart at least. I mean, you at least had those 2 guys right then and there where you could have drafted either one of those guys, and you did not. So to me, it's just like, I don't know what the direction is, because you traded away another weapon that you could have had. I do understand that, they said that he was too much. I don't know. I think maybe you could have got more for him, possibly. But then again, you did get a 3rd and a 5th. So you did get something out of it, but I think you could have got just a little bit more, because the Cowboys are desperate for another wide receiver. So you could have got more out of them. And I don't know. It's just, to me, it's just, there's still some questions there about where you're going, because honestly, you're still waiting on Aaron Rodgers. You have no answer right there with him. So he's making you guys wait. And he said after the draft has been over for a couple of weeks now, and we still haven't heard nothing about Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, so what I would say about that is, I feel like that's why I said you're gonna need a year to be bad. You know what I'm saying? Like Shador and Jackson Dart, they're not like all world. You know what I mean? They're not all world guys, and it's a lot of speculation around Shador right now. To be quite honest, I'm not saying I wasn't hoping we got him. I wanted us to get him, because I felt like Shador, DK, Pickens. I felt like, But when I think about everything and think about the I'm just trying to make sense of it. I don't think that for it to this is what I think they're thinking by making these moves. You be bad for 1 year. I don't actually know all the quarterbacks. I have to do my research for the next year's draft. But from the reports I hear, it's a more quarterback-driven draft next year. So with all the picks that we got, we got to be bad at least 1 year. We can't, why not this year see what Roman Wilson can do? See if he is good enough to be a number 2 or number 3. We see what Calvin Austin can do. Calvin Austin has produced as a number 2 in a subpar offense. So I already think Calvin Austin's cool. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like have a year like this when this is Aaron Rodgers. Don't sign, because with Aaron Rodgers, I'm pretty sure they're going to be expecting a lot more rather than having Mason Rudolph starting or someone else. But
absolutely,
to be quite honest, I think you need a year where you're either bad or you're good. And that's the thing.
I think with Aaron Rodgers, you're going to be right where you were last year. You're just going to be another team that almost either just got into the playoffs, or I don't know, man.
I do want to say this, worse. I'm not selling Aaron Rodgers. I do want to say this though. It's funny because I'm hearing what you talk, right? Well, first, I do think that the Steelers got good. I just said that nobody wanted Pickens, and they got a third rounder in the 5th and the 6th swap. They swapped their 6th for a 5th. So that's good conversation for real. I mean, but what is funny to me is this. We always say, Tomlin, pick a side. Either be good or be bad. And like Vaughn said, it looked like they making a decision to be bad. And everybody outside what they port, everybody that's not a Steelers nation is now condemning him for being bad now. Like, what is he doing? He got Mason Rudolph over the roster. And it's like, this nigga, isn't what everybody asked for? Like, he like piled up on picks. You see how many picks I got next year?
We could possibly have 12 next year.
12 picks next year?
Yeah,
And they could possibly be bad.
that's because of the compensatory picks that they can
Yeah, which is cool. 12 picks and you're bad. That's good. You know what I mean?
That was us and the Ravens. Well, we were the bad team, but us and the Ravens had the most picks this year. We had 11 picks in this draft. So
I remember that. Y'all had a lot of those. Yeah. So
and I want to throw out one thing too, because you all keep saying that nobody wanted George Pickens, but there is the report that came out too that George Pickens was going to get a Steelers hell this off season because he wanted to get paid. So they were like, let's just clean house and not deal with this situation while we're trying to figure out if we're going to be good or bad. So, Vaughn, I'm with you on that one as far as they're trying to get away of that title of mediocrity, because that would have been a mediocre move right there to sit there and say, all right, we're just going to keep him here and we'll figure it out. He not show up to training camp. He not show up to OTAs. And now he's trying to hold out because this is the last year of his rookie deal. And then when you really try to trade him, you might not get anything because it's like, well, we already know you want to get rid of him. It was already mumbles that they wanted to get rid of him. And then the Cowboys jumped in. Honestly, I heard the Cowboys was trying to get Rashad Bateman too. They was calling everybody in the AFC North. They was like, "What y'all giving up?" It's just that the Steelers said, "Will he can go first."
I think it's a match made in heaven, that trade. I really do. You know, I think the Steelers, like you said, Tomo, was like, we gotta get rid of him because of our situation. And then when they try to get rid of him, they found out that a lot of people were like, George Pickens coming in here, I call somebody else. They're like, oh dang,
we know who like would take him.
And we know, I know just the guy to take them. Like,
Jerry.
And I can guarantee when Jerry hung with that phone, he's like, suckers. And they were like,
I know, right?
Okay, it's a win-win for both of us. Yeah, that's exactly what
it was a win-win. I feel like it's a win-win situation because y'all need to move.
I do have one small question that you can answer outside of the show, but I do know that there has been some question about Mike Tomlin being involved in player personnel. Well, the report came out that when Pickens was traded, Mike Tomlin was a big reason as to why he was traded. Right. So knowing that he's involved in player personnel, how do you feel now that knowing that you haven't had a quarterback really since Ben Roethlisberger, how do you feel about him not being able to get a quarterback so far, even though I know you got 12 picks next season, but not having a quarterback for the future right now and waiting until next year when you could have probably answered that maybe a while ago, like made some kind of trade or something like that to get more picks to put yourself in position to get a quarterback or what have you. So you don't have to answer it now, but whenever you get that, then just answer it.
Cool. Before I go, I do want to say this. What if Will Howard is actually pretty good? Like, no one had ever brought that part up. A lot of people talk about what he did in college. Well, what I saw in the postseason, he balled out. I saw him step his game up. He elevated his game in the postseason. Mm-hmm. And those little things are what you look for in college players. Mm-hmm. Guys that elevate their games in crucial moments. You look at his stature, his size, his build, his ability to make almost any throw on the field. I mean, he's a prototypical quarterback. He's not a slouch. You know what I'm saying? So he's a champion. So I wouldn't sleep on the fact that Will Howard will possibly be a good quarterback. You know, like, not saying he is or he will be. I'm just I'm not ruling it out.
There's always a possibility.
Wasn't this man in the combine that was speaking so highly of him? Because in the combine he didn't look too good, and then somebody came out and spoke super highly of him. It was a receiver. I forgot who it was. Carl right now, but and I do want to say before we go,
it might have been it might have been an Ohio State receiver, but I'm not sure.
I don't think it was. It wasn't nobody on the team. That's why it was big. It was like somebody came out and spoke highly of him. But I do want to say this though. I thought this is how I know the Shador situation is non-football related. Because when the Steelers didn't draft them, the report came out that said the room was divided if they were going to get Shador or not. So they ended up not getting Shador. But then he came around 4 more times, and they still didn't get him. So it has to be like, are we gonna get him, period, or not? Because of because of how he carries him. It has to be that. It has to be something like that.
And that's why I brought that up when we talked about it before. When I said, yeah, I got to think about the other side of things. It's not just what he did on the field, because we all saw what he did on the field. We believe that he's the talent. It's just how he carried himself in them interviews.
When I heard what he said when I heard how he handled the Giants interview, I was disgusted. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. I was disappointed.
I ain't like that.
I ain't gonna lie. And I saw Justin Dark's interview. I'm like, dang, he was bad. But yeah. Appreciate you, Vaughn. Your last words. Let people know how they can find you. You just had a show.
Appreciate y'all for letting me back on the big stage. Definitely subscribe to RBO. Just had a show about 3 hours ago.
Yes, sir.
We're actually about to talk about 2 of the things I talked about. You know what I'm saying? So definitely tap in. I gave a different perspective on Boston's trouble. A lot of people, I haven't heard no one brought that up. So definitely tap in to that. And shout out to my Steelers, man. Y'all, I'm just a fan, just waiting at this point. I have no expectations at all, to be quite honest. I'm just here waiting, watching. Will Howard, you my dog right now, man. Let's get it. It went from Kenny Pickett to Russell Wilson. Will Howard. Let's get it. Appreciate y'all, though.
Hey, thanks, Vaughn. I got my ski mask and everything, man. I got it in the middle.
Hey, George Pickett's a dog, man. Hey, just tell Dak watch his back if he start tripping.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you like I told you in the chat. Somebody needs to smack his helmet when he going crazy. That's it. Ain't anybody do it in a while. Somebody gotta be like, hey man, get your head back right.
Facts,
he gonna have Pickers and Diggs yelling at him.
Facts.
Diggs is still recovering from that ACL, so we gonna see.
Yeah, appreciate you, Vaughn.
Appreciate it,
man. Always.
Yeah, he's like, what's going on? Carl, you late. You missed it, man. You gotta rewind it back.
You missed it all.
Man, well,